Good evening. It's 3 minutes to the top of the hour, but you're just in time for NTV Tonight. Ahead. Tonight, the drama in the Mao Forest evictions. An MP arrested.
Arresting leaders will not solve this problem.
But reprieve for families with children learning. Also tonight, toxic flow. Concern and awareness rise after one death 3 weeks ago. Attacks and acrimony amid scenes of xenophobia in South Africa.
Attacks on people who run businesses from foreign nationals is something that's totally unacceptable.
Kenyan businesses affected.
NTV Tonight with Mark Masai.
We're glad you chose NTV Tonight. Flora Tieno is our sign language interpreter tonight. Now, just to get one thing straight, NTV was meant to air an expose on Sunday, September the 1st, about how the Child Welfare Society of Kenya has been abusing the rights of children under its care and embezzling funds allocated to it in a scheme where special needs children are used for financial gain and big profit. But the organization obtained court orders on Friday barring us from airing the expose Sins of Saviors on Sunday. NTV is still keen to ensure Sins of Saviors runs. To one of another top story today, and it is another battlefront, if we may call it such. The government is moving to put out the fires over the Mao Forest evictions, albeit temporarily. 15 schools at the heart of the Mao Forest will remain open during the eviction. The Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea, who last week announced that the schools in the Masai Mao Forest are illegal, now says the children will continue to attend classes so as not to be seen like the government does not care, in his words. But in the Mao, Emurua Dikir, Member of Parliament Johanna Ngeno, and 2 Narok MCAs were consumed in the flames of confrontation with police, who picked them up as they prepared to address a group of settlers facing eviction. They were later charged with incitement, obstruction, and illegally holding a meeting. NTV's Olive Burrows was there and witnessed the drama.
This is our country. This is our country, Bwana. Don't use a rule of law wrongly.
We shall not be moved. That is the message those settled in the Masai Mao have been shouting to government from the top of their lungs. And on Tuesday, government pushed back. And things came to a head. They who wielded the guns and the batons prevailed. That is how the Honorable Member of Parliament for Emurua Dikir, Johanna Ngeno, found himself on the wrong side of the authorities. But for the defiant Ngeno, it served to show the Masai Mao voting bloc that he was happy to spend a night in jail to champion the cause. But not everyone was impressed. The Masai Council of Elders, frowning on what they described as the antics of a political class and concerned with the future. In an effort to broker a ceasefire, the national government has made a concession, allowing the 15 schools it ordered shut as part of efforts to rid the Mao of invaders to continue their operations for the duration of the school term. Olive Burrows, NTV.
Elsewhere in Turbi, an 8-year-old girl is nursing gunshot wounds after armed militia ambushed their village, in yet another gun attack. Meanwhile, schools in Forole and Turbi have failed to reopen due to the insecurity there.
Tension is high in Turbi, Marsabit County following a fresh attack on Monday. Attackers reportedly surrounded Turbi town before unleashing violence. An 8-year-old girl sustained injuries during the encounter between police and militia.
Askari walirespond haraka, wamerespond haraka sana. Kama askari hawangetuokoa, hawa watu wameingia tano wangefanya masaka kama ile ya mwaka 2005.
Meanwhile, schools in Turbi and Forole have failed to reopen for the third term on Monday. The affected schools include Forole Primary School, Turbi Primary School and Turbi Nomadic Girls Primary School.
Lakini naona wanafunzi hata moja hawajafika. na bado tunahofia kwamba wanafunzi wanaweza potea wengi zaidi. Unakuta wanafunzi 3 wetu sahi tulipoteza juzi, waliuawa.
Most families have been displaced and are staying in the nearby police station or in areas not affected by the skirmishes. On August 25th, 5 people were killed and another 4 seriously injured in Forole location. For now, what the residents are yearning for is peace and a lasting solution to the never-ending conflict.
Let's now take you to Athi River town, where some residents there woke up to grim scenes. Tons of dead fish washed up on the banks of the clammy Athi River, the most glaring signs yet of just how impure the river waters are. NTV's Charity Mwangi reports on the latest finding that bodes ill for the river and those whose lives depend on it.
In their numbers, the dead fish washed up on the banks of the chalky Athi River, a sign of the deep trouble that lurked in the shadows. It is alleged that the death of the fish had been caused by effluent released into the river by unscrupulous manufacturers.
Nikaona maji yanakuja kujaa, nikaanza kuona samaki ikiruka juu. Kutoka hapo Monday nikakuja nikakikuta sikiwa hapa juu.
Vile tuliona jana, tukasema tuwezi jaribu tena sababu unaweza tega, uanze kuumwa na tumbo, uende hospitali, uumie.
When this fish died, some of the vendors went and picked the dead fish, came and sold to people. Now, I don't know how far that fish has been sold. I want to warn the vendors who are selling that fish, and I'm also cautioning consumers, don't just take fish without knowing the origin of that fish.
This comes only 2 weeks after NTV exposed the alarming rate of pollution of the Nairobi and Athi rivers and their tributaries. Soon after, government agencies swung into action and shut down factories suspected to be discharging effluent into the rivers. But their cleanup campaign did little to clean out the filth in the waters of the Athi.
Vile tumeona hiyo maji imekaa, tukaona ni chemical, hakuna kitu kingine.
Residents are now demanding that the government arrest the situation, if only to prevent the death of humans.
Kama wanaweza kuchunguza, hii mto inakuwa na maji inakuwa green, na tuelewi hiyo green inakuwa nini, na hapo awali ilikuwa maji safi.
Sasa lazima tusafishe, na lazima watu ama makampuni ambazo zinatupa takataka katika mto Athi wachukuliwe hatua kubwa.
The Kenya Wildlife Service has also been advised to participate in the rehabilitation of the Athi River, as wild animals are also susceptible to the effects of the toxic waters. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Elsewhere, Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu has accused the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nuruddin Haji, of abusing the justice system by seeking her removal from office through the Judicial Service Commission. Mwilu says the DPP's efforts to kick her out had faltered before the courts. NTV's Mel Miendo has more.
The war between the Deputy President of the Supreme Court and the Director of Public Prosecutions is stirring up fine dust. In her response to the DPP's petition seeking her removal from office under consideration by the Judicial Service Commission, Mwilu says all those seeking her removal from office spoke on a subject whose matters are premised solely on the High Court's determination. As a member of the JSC, she says the custom of the Commission is not to consider any matter that is before the courts, adding that all the evidence used against her was obtained illegally. In particular, Mwilu faults the DPP, saying, and I quote, "The DPP clearly understands the decision by the High Court as not directing or permitting him to lodge a petition. This is a demonstration of bad faith and abuse of process by the DPP." End of quote. Mwilu is now urging the JSC, which is also comprised of judges and judicial officers, not to be seen as acting at cross purposes with the courts. DPP Nuruddin Haji now wants to respond to the DCJ. Mwilu stands accused of misconduct in the irregular sale and acquisition of a 315
million shilling property through the collapsed Imperial Bank. She, however, survived prosecution after a 5-judge bench faulted the conduct of the DCI Director George Kinoti, stating he obtained evidence against her illegally. 2 months later, 4 petitions were filed against her to the Judicial Service Commission, which she's part of. If JSE finds that the DPP's petition discloses a ground for removal, then it will be sent to President Uhuru Kenyatta, who will form a tribunal within 14 days of receiving the petition to further investigate Lady Justice Mwilu. Mel Miendo, NTV.
Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko now says he blocked payments to companies that were awarded garbage collection tenders illegally, but blames persons within his office who he says went behind his back to ensure these companies, which he blacklisted, were paid anyway. Sonko is taking questions from EACC investigators over the fetid garbage collection contracts flagged by the Auditor General.
The Integrity Centre played host to Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. He was meant to clear the air over a foul garbage collection tender dating back to the 2017-2018 financial year.
Actually, I'm not an investigation, but I was summoned as the CEO to come and shed light. We took long because we recorded 13 statements. There are 13 companies involved.
A report by the Nairobi County Assembly in July 2018 showed that the city's environmental department could not account for over 160 million shillings paid out to contracted garbage collectors in the 2017-2018 and 2018-2019 financial years.
Now, when the Honorable Departmental Committee on Environment raised an issue on the procurement of these particular companies, what I did, I decided to blacklist the companies. We blocked their payments, and at some point, all the companies' directors were summoned to appear before the Departmental Committee on Environment. When these directors appeared, the committee cleared them.
The governor says the Environment Committee sent a letter to the county government dated the 5th of March and another on a later date asking that the garbage collectors be paid. An audit report on the expenditure on garbage collection prompted an investigation into the payment of 202,996,053 shillings to the firms. The report also revealed that 162,092,407 shillings was paid to 2 firms for collecting garbage in areas that were not pre-qualified and contracted to collect them.
Immediately I was sworn in as the governor. There are companies which were there, which were collecting garbage on behalf of the great city of Nairobi. And we find that what was being charged that time was on the higher side. It was very expensive.
During a County Assembly Environment Committee sitting, it emerged that Irondeck Group, which beat 3 others to the contract, had only been in existence for 78 days.
A company is supposed to have experience of 1 year before getting a contract or a certain contract. But there was public participation was there.
Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Police have arrested 5 people and recovered a junkyard full of spare parts and registration plates from dismantled vehicles in Kariobangi South in Nairobi. The premises is suspected to be the hub of a car theft syndicate. Of the 2 men and 3 women who were arrested, the latter would allegedly poach and entice their victims at pubs, after which they take off with their vehicles for the spare parts harvest. Among the recovered items are drugs, which the women allegedly put into car owners' drinks at social joints. The syndicate has allegedly been operating out of Nairobi, Kiambu and Kajiado counties, where police also say the suspects have pending cases against them. A cabinet circular directing cabinet secretaries to implement interventions of the Building Bridges Initiative, BBI, may just be the new source of strife between members allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. The deputy president this weekend disparaged the Building Bridges Initiative, saying it only served to create positions of power for few. NTV's Kennedy Mureithi puts it into perspective.
A circular by the head of public service to all cabinet secretaries on the performance contracting guidelines for the year 2019-2020 has created a buzz within the government and political circles. All CSs are required to support the Building Bridges initiative by implementing interventions aimed at promoting national unity and nationhood, and this will be a key measure of their performance. The circular dated 29th July 2019 is copied to all principal secretaries, the Comptroller of State House, the Chief of Staff in the Deputy President's Office, Principal Administrative Secretary Cabinet Affairs Office, and the Secretary Public Service Commission. It shows the willingness of President Uhuru Kenyatta to stay true to his partnership with opposition leader Raila Odinga and their commitment to the March 9th handshake at the steps of Harambee House. The Building Bridges initiative team had been collecting views from Kenyans on what direction the country would go, and most of those who appeared before it were of the view that the country's supreme law should be reviewed. Raila has been drumming support for a referendum, an initiative only outrightly endorsed by the president recently.
Once people made the comments, then we will gather all those comments, and then on the basis of that we'll formulate the referendum question.
Deputy President William Ruto, who sits in cabinet, has outrightly poked holes on the Building Bridges initiative, saying it was only meant to serve the interests of a few.
I want to tell our friends who are making ridiculous proposals, are we solving inclusion or are we entrenching and constitutionalizing marginalization and exclusion?
Hiyo BBI ambayo ni beba baba tuite bebarandum. Hata wakileta bebarandum, alafu walete memorandum, waongezee contingendum, alafu wakimaliza waweke addendum, baadaye wandunge momentum. Sisi wa Meru tutasahau na wewe sababu ya ile kazi mzuri umetufanyia.
Though reports of a divided cabinet have been officially denied, and despite the Deputy President's strong pronouncements against the BBI, it will be interesting to watch whether he and his allies will now fall in line. Kennedy Muredhi, NTV.
NTV Tonight bridges to a break, but still ahead in this broadcast. One dead and more than 20 test positive for hepatitis B in Mount Elgon. We tell you how Bungoma is responding.
To the out-of-framers, the turtleneckers, the fringe growers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt, and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel. Join the millions that have switched to Dettol Even Tone, now also in pomegranate fragrance, a healthier skin for an even better you. Brought to you by the Kenya Consortium of Medical and Health Professionals. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Welcome to Kibabii University, a center of academic excellence whose mission is to enhance new knowledge in science, technology, and innovation through quality training, research, consultancy, and outreach programs. Apply now for our September intakes for postgraduate, degree, and diploma programs in the following schools and faculties: School of Computing and Informatics, School of Business and Economics, School of Graduate Studies, Faculty of Sciences, and Faculty of Education and Social Sciences. For more inquiries, call us on 0708 08 5934 or 0734 831 729 or visit our website www.kibu.ac.ke. Kibabii University, knowledge for development.
When you sign up for autocorrect from Heritage Insurance, we will install a telematics device in your vehicle. You will also enjoy rewards by accumulating points for good driving. You can save up to 15% of your insurance premium. Autocorrect from Heritage. For more, SMS autocorrect to 22922 or visit autocorrect.heritageinsurance.co.ke.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Does it mean mtu asipokuwa na mtoto haizi contribute to the agenda? Is that it?
Unajua ni vitu ngapi nataka kwa maisha yangu na sijaipata?
Ai!
Unga chapati ni 100. Chapati moja nyinyi mnauza 100. Kivipi? Kwa nini unaniambia nyamanzi?
Bwanangu amelala juu na akikusikia mke hatafurahia.
I have 12 wives kama politician ameiba.
What do you want, Awiti? An education so that you can have a better job.
Tumekuita hapa kukuja kutuexplainia ni nini lilifanyika kwa gate. I have office to run.
Michi acha kuwa hivyo. Umetoka wapi na please don't lie to me. I'm so sorry.
Welcome back. Health officials in Bungoma have started on a vaccination campaign to contain the spread of hepatitis B after 22 people tested positive for the viral disease. One other person died in Mount Elgon 3 weeks ago over the same case. Zacchaeus Mosame with the details.
Kamneru village in Mount Elgon constituency is clouded in fear. This follows an outbreak of hepatitis B virus that was traced here a month ago. The disease has already claimed the life of a 40-year-old woman, Edina Chebesis, who passed on 3 weeks ago. 22 others have tested positive for the virus and are receiving treatment.
Toa tukaenda paka huko. Kaendelea kutupima. Familia yangu wote wana hiyo ugonjwa. Ilipatikana ni mimi tu niko naye na watoto ya marehemu 2 na mzee yangu ndio tulikuwa na hiyo ugonjwa.
Kuna mtoto wa Boniface Songoro ambaye alizaa na marehemu, alibainika kuwa ako na hiyo ugonjwa na huo ugonjwa na alikuwa anaendelea na matibabu.
2 nurses attached to Kamneru Health Center have also been infected. Edna, who is said to have crossed into the country from Uganda, is said to be patient 0 in the remote village of Kamneru and its environs.
Sijapimwa, msee hajapimwa. Yena anakaa na wasiwasi. Ama wewe uko na ugonjwa na mimi sina. Heri kila mtu akae mbali kwanza mpaka tupimwe, kila mtu ajue hali yake.
Tuliambiwa kwamba mtu mwenye ako na ugonjwa ukimgusa tu bora umsalamia na ako na unyevu. Huenda kuna shida inaweza ikakuambukiza pia.
Bungoma County health officers have, however, assured residents that they are doing everything they can to contain the situation. Hepatitis B is an infection of the liver. It can cause scarring of the organ, liver failure, and cancer, and can be fatal if it's not treated.
So for the cases, the specimens that were taken to Kemri, Nairobi, out of 12, 11 were reactive. And for the 38 specimens that we took to the county referral hospital, only 11 also were reactive.
The contact with those health workers is what caused them to react to get the virus. They didn't have that clear information. It's not a common disease, so I don't think they had that information.
At least 10 people who interacted with Edna, either directly or indirectly here in Kamneru village, were infected with the viral disease. The medics from the county government of Bungoma, however, are saying that they're going to do their best to make sure that they suppress this disease before the situation moves from bad to worse. Zacchaeus Masame, NTV, Bungoma.
The divorce case between Marian Kitanye and Meru Senator Mithika Linturi continues to serve up drama as the plaintiff asked for an adjournment to allow her to mourn the death of the senator's father. Linturi's father passed away yesterday due to what the defense says are revelations that have come out in the explosive divorce proceedings. NTV's Brenda Wanga with today's installment of that drama.
In the divorce court Tuesday morning, one of the parties was conspicuous by her absence. The plaintiff, Marian Kitanye, was nowhere to be seen as the man she claims is her husband sat pensively waiting for the case to proceed. That was not to be.
My client is in the mourning mood. She's in the process organizing to go to our home in Meru part and parcel. The burial programs, therefore she's not competent.
The death alluded to here that of the father of the senator, Senior Linturi. According to the senator's legal team, the Senior Linturi's death had everything to do with the revealing evidence produced in court by Keitany.
Actually, his death is attributable to the shock of the very scandalous allegation that a girl from a community distant from Meru came to build a house for him when he has sons and daughters of his own that are people of means.
Keitany's team, however, says the truth is far removed from the senator's claim.
If indeed, according to counsel and according to the respondent, Senior Linturi got shocked that it is the petitioner who built for him a house, then I sympathize for that one claiming to be the head of the whole.
The senator, through his lawyers, say Marianne is simply using the demise of his father to further complicate the proceedings that have held him and his economic, emotional, and political affairs hostage.
The petitioner cannot be heard to cry louder than the bereaved. My instructions were that throughout, ever since she obtained those orders I'm alluding to, the petitioner has latched at every straw possible to extend the life of this dispute.
It is totally un-African that the petitioner, the respondent is coming telling you he is ready to proceed.
Linturi's lawyers further opposed the application to adjourn the divorce hearing until the burial of the Senior Linturi on the grounds that the deceased was not Keitany's father-in-law and therefore she didn't need to be involved in the burial. Keitany has been asked to be present in court tomorrow for the continuance of the case that continues to grip the nation. Brenda Wanga, NTV.
More drama coming out of a Malindi court where a woman was yesterday arraigned to face charges of threatening to kill her husband. Anne Githinji Wamboi was charged alongside a Kenya Defence Forces soldier, James Washira. They, however, denied the charges against them. The woman is alleged to have left her husband, Joseph Kirago Mushai's home in November last year and eloped with her alleged lover, Washira. She was also charged with stealing 712,000 shillings from Mushai on the 26th of November last year. She also faces another charge of cruelty and neglect of a child after she abandoned her 3 children at her husband's home. The two were released on a 300,000 shillings bond each. From the courts and now to politics, the stakes are high for the ODM party ahead of the Kibra by-elections after its rival Jubilee party settled on former footballer McDonald Mariga as its candidate. ODM, which will pick its candidate this Saturday, will be facing a litmus test which analysts now say could have implications on its support base ahead of the 2022 elections. NTV's Silas Apollo reports on the race that has been framed as a battle between the country's top 2 political heavyweights and what is at stake.
It has been touted as one of ODM leader Raila Odinga's biggest political test yet this year, and pundits now predict that the stakes could not be any higher. The seat has turned into an arena for the country's 2 biggest political parties, Jubilee and ODM, and that whichever wins will have proved its case ahead of the 2022 political duel. Jubilee has settled on footballer McDonald Mariga.
The above processes have yielded for the Jubilee Party a candidate of impeccable character and credentials, a candidate who has enduring connections with the people of Kibra.
But that choice has been opposed by one of the party's hopefuls, Peter Kinyanjui, who has since written a letter to the party saying the selection process was flawed. ODM party has a list of 14 candidates to choose from. and it says it will conduct its primaries on Saturday. And while the seat may be for the ODM to take due to its influence and dominance in the area for the past 2 decades, analysts say that such a win will depend largely on how it conducts its primaries. Some say that for Jubilee, the onus will be on how it sells its candidate. Aspirants for the ODM ticket are Awino Christon Odhiambo, Orero Peter Ochieng, Sintoni, Ogola Sira, Ojijo William, Ruben Ayako, and Ogua Stephen Okelo. Others are Okoth Bernard Otieno, Obai Obarix, Eric Ochieng, Owino Brian Shem, Mila John Otieno, Musungu Benson, and Owade Lumumba Patrick. The ODM party insists that the primaries will be done in an open and fair manner and will not discriminate against any candidate. The race also has candidates from the Democratic Party, Ford Kenya, and Amani National Congress. Silas Apollo, NTV.
Silas Apollo's report brings us to the next break on NTV Tonight. Business is up next, and it'll include the Directorate of Criminal Investigation starts digging into the KQ books. What are they looking for? We'll tell you after the break. That's with Julian's Amboko.
The University of Nairobi is receiving applications for the September 2019 intake. Interested applicants should apply online at application.uonbi.ac.ke. Choose a course from its diverse market-driven and internationally recognized programs in undergraduate, postgraduate, and fellowship programs in arts, business, economics, journalism and mass communication, law, education, project planning and management, computer science, medicine, among many others. For more detail, visit our website www.uonbi.ac.ke. The University of Nairobi, a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
I learned the best way to succeed is by first defining your path. Just like climbing a tree, you focus on one branch at a time. Hold it, test its strength, climb it, and then focus on the next branch. What I came to realize, each and every aspect of our lives, mine included, as an Isuzu effect behind it. My dream is to make Kenya an Isuzu nation.
Now, Kenya Urban Rural Headquarters has moved from the IKM place, which was on Ngong Avenue, to Barabara Plaza. And the purpose of moving is just to offer more efficient and effective services. This is just one-stop shop for our customers in the road subsector.
Visit us at Barabara Plaza off Mombasa Road opposite KCAA, Airport South Road, JKIA, or get us at www.kura.go.ke. Kenya Urban Roads Authority, delivering efficient and safe urban road network.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
for maximum cavity protection.
And now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
Mzee, I'm hungry.
Yes, with some extra fries. Delivery on the way.
So extra.
Aren't you tired of hoping for real candidates? No!
So extra.
Has to be extra because extra data is always better with extra minutes. Dial *544# to subscribe and share live extra. Telecom, moving with you. NTV Business News in association with the University of Nairobi.
Welcome to NTV Business. I am Julian Amboko. Now, the Directorate of Criminal Investigation is looking into the procurement of services by Kenya Airways, even as the airline formally withdrew its bid for the public-private partnership with Kenya Airports Authority. The DCI is digging into the procurement of maintenance, repair and overhaul of aircraft engines by KQ, looking to unearth any possible foul play which has pushed the airline into recurrent losses. In a statement to newsrooms, the airline says it is according the Office of the DCI the necessary cooperation as it carries out investigation. Last week, Kenya Airways reported an 8.6 billion shillings loss for the 6 months ending June 2019, a deterioration from the 4 billion shillings loss reported in the same period in 2018. And away from that, coffee farmers took a beating yet again in August as the value of coffee traded at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange dropped by 23.4% to about 10 billion shillings despite a marginal increase in the volume sold. The decline in value was occasioned by a 25% drop in the average price from 21,500 shillings to 16,100 shillings per 50 kilogram bag. The volumes traded increased by 2% to 556,000 in August 2019 compared to a similar period in 2018. The performance in the market has been brought about by increased production levels of the beverage caused by higher volumes in Brazil. And on to matters telecommunications, Telecom Kenya has accused Safaricom of engaging in efforts to delay the realization of its joint venture with Airtel in what Telecom says is an attempt by Safaricom to cement its dominance. Telecom Kenya CEO Mugo Kibati has decried the Safaricom's writing to the Communications Authority regarding the deal as a move aimed at stifling the quest for a competitive telecommunications market. The Communications Authority has put Airtel Telecom joint venture transaction on hold following investigations into the 2012 recapitalization of Telecom by French firm Orange.
We have no quarrel with our colleagues at Safaricom. We are simply trying to restructure and improve our own businesses. It is unfortunate, however, that Safaricom now wants to delay this process that seeks to provide customers with credible options. Does the dominant player not want to see this sector grow? Is the dominant player wary of competition and even more precisely, wary of competitive pricing?
Interesting. And moving on, maize farmers from the western region are appealing to millers to offer better prices for their product. The farmers are urging millers to increase the price of a 90-kilogram bag of maize from 3,000 shillings to at least 3,400 shillings. Maize farmers from the western region have started harvesting, but lack of market from the region is forcing most to transport their produce to the North Rift town of Eldoret.
Vile mahindi ni nyingi, bei unapouza mahindi unauza kwa bei ya chini. Na sisi tunataka bei ya kufurahisha mkulima.
Baada haijakuwa stable upande wa price. Saa ingine unaenda kupurchase, penye unaenda kununua unapata inashuka. Sasa sometime inabidi ukae na mahindi ucommunicate, ujue bei kama iko mzuri ndio ulete mahindi yako.
And on to the regional front, countries in Eastern and Southern African region are grappling with jobless growth, raising question over the sustainability of their growth momentum. Whereas the region's economic growth accelerated from 4.7% in 2016 to 5.6% in 2018, creation of employment opportunities has been muted, leading to wider inequality. Speaking during the 6th Annual Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Research Forum in Nairobi, COMESA Assistant Secretary General Kipyego Cheluget said lack of technological innovation in the region is hampering creation of job opportunities. Cheluget says that COMESA is looking at creating a digital free trade area which will ease access to documents such as a certificate of origin to hasten intra-regional trade.
COMESA is also talking about a digital free trade area. That means we shall look at all the aspects of movement across the borders from a digital perspective, meaning having e-legislation, e-logistics, e-way of doing things. So that way, if that is eased, we might see the resurgence or the increase of intra-commercial trade.
And livestock farmers in the counties of Mandera, Marsabit, Turkana, Baringo, Isiolo, Wajir and Garissa will be afforded some relief as the government steps up efforts towards livestock insurance. The Ministry of Agriculture has issued a cheque worth 300 million shillings towards this end as farmers stare at losses from the death of livestock due to adverse weather conditions. The cheque forms part of the Kenya Livestock Insurance Program.
The government has been implementing a fully subsidized insurance product by providing by subsidizing the premiums for the most vulnerable members of the community. This program started way back in 2014. This year we have partnered with Takaful, who are here with us, Insurance of Africa, who is providing the insurance cover.
And the KCB Group has appointed Paul Russo to serve as Designate Managing Director of National Bank of Kenya for a period of 2 years. This appointment comes a day after the Central Bank of Kenya gave its green light to the takeover, which should see National Bank shareholders swap every 10 of their shares for one KCB Group share. Until this appointment, Russo has been serving as the KCB Group's Regional Business Director in charge of subsidiaries in Tanzania, Rwanda, South Sudan and Burundi. Russo's entry is dominated by the integration of National Bank into KCB Group, a move that is set to push KCB's asset base to the above 800 billion shillings mark. And up next, we have the financial report. And that's where we close business tonight. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
NTV Business News in association with the University of Nairobi.
Interested applicants should apply online at application.uonbi.ac.ke. The University of Nairobi, a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence. Welcome to Turkana University College. Turkana University is a center of research, innovation, and technological development for advancement of the society. The university is located in the vast resource-rich county of Turkana. We offer unique competency-based training in schools of sciences, business and economics, education, and TVET training. Apply now for our January, May, and September intakes for postgraduate degree and diploma certificate in the following programs: environmental sciences, business administration, environmental health, human evolution biology, renewable energy and technology, education, development studies and social work, information technology, public administration and management, agriculture, early childhood development, ECDE, water technology, marine sciences, petroleum studies, among other courses. Turkana University, the cradle of knowledge.
Mama, how can I be a champion runner?
Well, you've got to be like a geisha ball. Stay strong and go so far. Be strong and last long.
Like geisha.
Breakfast is not complete without the new Minute Maid NutriDefense's Nectar Plus. Complete the most important meal of the day with the goodness of great-tasting juice fortified with vitamin E and zinc to complement your family's nutritional needs. Minute Maid NutriDefense's Nectar Plus. Breakfast complete.
Rough and tough quality textured coating gives your walls a tough and beautiful finish. Available in over 6,000 shades, it hides surface imperfections. Call us on 0709 887 000 to place your order. Crown. If you like it, crown it. Now you can get your Uber ride with a phone call. Call 0800 722 000 to ride.
Welcome back. 2 Kenyans are among hundreds of foreign business owners in South Africa whose shops have been vandalized and burnt during the xenophobic violence that has rocked the country in the last few days. Police have arrested more than 90 people in areas that have been affected by the violence, even as various countries condemn the incidents and call for action.
Police officers fired rubber bullets as they engaged a group of people who were vandalizing and burning shops owned by foreigners in South Africa. It was the second night of attacks on non-South Africans by locals who were demanding the departure of the foreigners, accusing them of denying them job opportunities in their own country. So far, police have arrested more than 90 people in 5 areas that have been hit by the violence. Police in various neighborhoods in Johannesburg and Pretoria sought to tame the violence, which extended into its 3rd day. Most gutted and empty shops remained closed as shop owners, many of them foreigners, feared to return to their property. The Kenyan diaspora in South Africa says that among the hundreds of foreign-owned businesses, 2 Kenyan-owned shops were vandalized and burnt. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa have condemned the attacks.
Now I'd like to condemn the violence that has been spreading around a number of provinces in our country in the strongest terms. The attacks on people who run businesses from foreign nationals is something that's totally unacceptable. It's something that we cannot allow to happen in South Africa.
Various countries and outfits have spoken out condemning the attacks. The African Union has condemned the attacks as despicable acts of violence in the strongest terms. Nigeria has been among the most vocal, saying enough is enough as the continuing attacks on Nigerian nationals and businesses in South Africa are unacceptable. President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a special envoy to South Africa to convey his concerns to President Cyril Ramaphosa after his government summoned the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria to address the matter. At the same time, the Ethiopian embassy in South Africa has advised citizens to close their shops until peace is restored.
NTV's Victor Kiprop is in South Africa and now gives us further context on this matter.
Well, normalcy is suddenly slowly returning to the city of Johannesburg, that is compared to what has been happening here around Sunday and even yesterday. We were able to drive through parts of the city today, and what we could see is that normalcy was slowly returning. Most parts of the city remained peaceful, and what we could see is only the aftermath of part of the destruction that happened to businesses around here yesterday. And of course, the same is reckoned by the Minister of Police, Mr. Beki Sele, the head of police, who also made a tour of the city earlier this afternoon and reckoned that normalcy was returning to most parts of the city. There were still a few incidences here and there where, of course, businesses owned by foreign nationals were still being looted by the locals, but he maintained that they are slowly restoring the situation. And the minister described the situation as unmitigated criminality, of course trying to stay away from describing it as acts of xenophobia, which is of course in contrary to what President Cyril Ramaphosa, who sent a statement on Twitter condemning the acts of course violence, saying that it is not it's not acceptable and it's not justifiable, and that he wants to put a stop to it. The vice president of the Republic of Nigeria, remember, most of the shops which were attacked here are owned by Nigerians. The vice president, Mr. Osibanjo Yemi, spoke condemning the attacks. Remember, the government of Nigeria had earlier released a statement that it was going to take its own actions to ensure that the safety of its citizens remains. And he also condemned the acts which he says are acts of bigotry, and he says he will take up the matter with the authorities of South Africa. The president of the African Union Commission, Mr. Faki Mahamat, also released a statement. His office also condemned the attacks and called and promised to support the South African government as they continue to address the acts of violence that have been experienced around here over the last few days. So as I mentioned, the situation is improving slowly. We did not manage to, of course, assess the situation in all areas, all parts of the city, but for the most part, which we drove with, that is from all the way from Sandton, which is partly an affluent neighborhood around Johannesburg, all the way through the part of the central business district to downtown Soweto. We were able to see for ourselves that a huge part of the city remained largely peaceful, although of course concerns about other areas which we were not able to cover remains. So we will be here to of course continue monitoring this situation, and we will be able to update you on the occurrence and developments as soon as they occur.
We look forward, and indeed the world looks forward to more action than words from South Africa on this issue. Kenya is among the countries that voted for the regulation of international trade in giraffes in a bid to offer more protection to the tall giants feared to be facing a silent extinction. A vote in Geneva by parties to the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species recognizes for the first time that international trade is part of the threat facing giraffes. Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala has attributed the dramatic decline of the giraffes to human-wildlife conflict and competition for agricultural land and conservation land. Zainab Ismail reports.
Just 2 weeks ago, a photograph of a weeping giraffe with a swarm of buzzing flies around the swollen eye went viral, shocking the world. The giraffe was treated for a bone tumor following a public outcry. It was a rare Rothschild's giraffe, one of the only 609 in Kenya, according to the last census. Reaching up to 18 feet tall, the giraffe is a towering figure in the jungle, but its survival now hangs in the balance. The number of giraffes has plummeted by around 40% over the course of the past 30 years. It is in this backdrop that Kenya, together with other African states, during the CITES meeting in Geneva in Switzerland, voted to put all 9 giraffe species on CITES Appendix 2.
So that gives us time, gives us opportunity not only to stop the slaughtering of the giraffe, but also how do we do the breeding of these beautiful animals.
In the late 1980s, Africa had around 150,000 giraffes. Today, there are less than 100,000 left.
The biggest challenge that Kenya is facing is competition of agricultural land and conservation areas. The other thing is human-wildlife conflict.
The reticulated giraffe, one of the Kenya's signature wildlife species, is already in the endangered list. Maasai and Rothschild giraffes make up the remainder of Kenya's total giraffe population. Despite their decline, hunting remains legal in countries such as South Africa, Namibia and Zimbabwe, with tourists from Russia, the US and European countries such as Germany paying thousands of dollars for hunting safaris. Zainab Ismail, NTV.
Time for another break, but still to come. Former politician returns as president of Pro Boxers Commission after close to a 20-year absence. Details of the intriguing election after the break on NTV Sport with Sean Carter-Villas.
Nation FM. More music and less talk. Nairobi 96.3, Mombasa 101.5, Meru 93.9, Nyeri 104.9, Eldoret 102.7, and Nakuru on 97.7. Follow us on social media on Facebook at Nation FM, Instagram at Nation FM, and on Twitter at Nation FM KE. Nation FM. More music and less talk.
Just as you'd study for an exam, study up on the field that interests you and the position you hope to achieve. Knowing the ins and outs of your preferred career path will help you enter the job market with eyes wide open.
September 2019 intake is ongoing for the following CBET courses: simple automation, lathe machine operator, manual metal arc welding, among others. Apply now and enjoy reduced tuition fee. The Nyeri National Polytechnic, excel in skills and technology.
Mtu asipokuwa na mtoto haizi contribute to the agenda. Is that it?
Unajua ni vitu ngapi nataka kwa maisha yangu na sijaipata?
Ai!
Unga chapati ni 100. Chapati moja nyinyi mnauza 100 kivipi? Kwa nini unaniambia ni nyamazi?
Bwanangu amelala juu. Na akikusikia mke hatafurahia.
I have 12 wives kama politician ameiba.
What do you want, Awiti? An education so that you can have a better job.
Tumekuita hapa kukuja kutuexplainia ni nini lifanyika kwa gate.
I have an office to run.
Michi acha kuwa hivyo.
Umetoka wapi na please don't lie to me. I'm so sorry.
A very good evening to you. I'm Sean Carter-Villis with the latest sports news. Now, the national football team Harambee Stars is currently training for the forthcoming friendly match against Uganda, which is a build-up for the upcoming 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. 13 local-based players took part in Monday's morning session, with Ethiopia-based Patrick Matasi featuring in the evening session at Kasarani. Coach Francis Kimanzi revealed that he may have to do without the services of Captain Victor Wanyama, midfielder Johanna Amolo and defender Joseph Okumu, who ply their trade abroad. Kenya is set to play Uganda on Sunday at Kasarani. Yet another friendly match has been lined up for Harambee Stars next month before Kenya faces Egypt and Togo in back-to-back 2021 AFCON qualifiers in November.
Strong opponent, of course. We saw them, we saw their performance. We are still trying also to think about how we can work out and see if we can challenge them, you know, to the best of our ability. But they were in the AFCON, we were also there, you know, different groups, of course. But I think every team has to prepare differently because this is also a different unit, and I believe maybe they will also have some different players from the players that they had in AFCON. And for us, what is important is we keep focus on what we have.
Athletes returning from the African Games in Morocco will now shift their focus to preparations for participation at the World Championships, 2020 Olympic Games and other international assignments. The team that included the athletics and boxing participants returned home to a heroic welcome after a successful outing in Rabat, Morocco. Kenya won 20 medals, 10 gold, 7 silver and 3 bronze medals to finish second behind Nigeria after a hotly contested final day of athletics. Boxing yielded 5 medals, 1 silver and 4 bronze, which was their best ever show since the 2007 Algiers Games. Taekwondo brought 2 silver medals, while swimming and mountain biking garnered 1 bronze medal each. Kenya finished 7th overall with 31 medals, 11 gold, 10 silver and 10 bronze medals, as Egypt once again topped with 271 medals, including 101 gold.
Running senior, and it really motivated me. That is the thing I can say, because it is the first time and started senior in style.
Our focus ni World Championship. Naomba sana nikate team. Nikakata team, sikukata tu team, but ni kupata medal kwa World Championship.
But the medals that we won came from the juniors, which is something pleasing for us as a country and for the future of sports in this country.
Mental preparation ilikuwa lacking sana mara nyingi. But this time kupitia kwa prezo wetu Bwana Jamal, vijana walikuwa psyched motivated, na in fact even inspired sana.
Betting firm SportPesa has inched closer to getting a trading license after it secured clearance from the Kenya Revenue Authority. Following the KRA clearance, SportPesa will now apply for a new license to be issued by the Betting Control and Licensing Board, that's BCLB. The government revoked SportPesa's license in July on grounds that the company had failed to meet its tax obligations. This resulted in the total cancellation of sports sponsorship in the country by SportPesa, with the Kenyan Premier League severely hampered financially. Now, after almost 2 decades, Ruben Ndolo has made a return as the head of the Kenya Professional Boxing Commission. Ndolo, popularly known as Chair in boxing circles, has lofty ambitions for professional boxing in the country. Ndolo was among the new officials elected to run pro boxing in Kenya for the next 4 years. Brian Atwal has the details.
After a 19-year absence, the former Makadara MP Ruben Ndolo is back at the helm of the Kenya Professional Boxing Commission. Ndolo, who was elected by delegates unopposed, takes over from Hilary Alila, who opted not to vie after his 4-year stint. And the former Africa Commonwealth Boxing Commission president believes he can use his political and boxing connections to help return professional boxing in the country to its heydays, even as Alila contends he did his best.
Want to clean everything and make sure that the things come back to where it used to be, because boxing is not easy. It's about how you can put yourself at the right map of the external world.
I'm leaving KPBC as the outgoing chairman in a good place. In our tenure in office, we set up structures that the new office can use to take boxing to the next level.
With the elections done and dusted, Kenyan professional boxers have their demands ready.
By the way, tunataka change. Na tunataka change kwa boxing sababu hatutaki maboxer waumie. Hiyo ndio kitu ambacho tunataka. Tunataka tumechagua watu wapya, ndio tunataka watuambie ni nini Kenya ambapo watatufanyia. Kama sisi maboxer, ni nini Kenya ambapo wanatuahidi ya kwamba itakuwa kwa boxing, unaona? Tutakuwa na boxing ama tutakuwa na boxing.
Ningependa tu at least the new office will come up, at least watu boost. Tukue hata kama ni kama watu ambio. At least mkienda huko mnakuwa recognized, mnapata kama ni support na morale.
Ahmed Yassin was elected the vice chairman, with Franklin Mbenzi the secretary general, assisted by renowned coach Julius Odhiambo. Purity Kasheri was elected treasurer unopposed, while Francis Orlando is the organizing secretary. The new team will be in office for a 4-year term. Brian Otwal, NTV Sport.
The Football Kenya Federation has rolled out a CAF C license course at the M-Pesa Foundation Academy in Thika. The course, which is one of 6 lined up this year, brought together coaches from the largest central region that includes FKF, Aberdares and the Mount Kenya branches, who had earlier on gained their basic and advanced coaching accreditation. The course will be held over 4 weeks, with 1 week set aside for attachment at football clubs actively participating in local leagues.
Since we took over, we have trained 2,800 coaches across the country at the basic level. Out of the 2,800 coaches, we are now training in this round 480 coaches for the next level, which is CAF C. It's important to understand that our football can really not develop if these gentlemen and ladies do not have the basics we need for the kids. You cannot have children without teachers.
FKF President Nick Mwendwa. Now finally, angry youths from Maragua constituency, Murang'a County, are up in arms after a fence was erected on their only playing ground by the national government, locking them out. The youths complained that the Kimorori football ground, which is the only field in the constituency, was fenced with intentions of putting up courts, leaving youths without a field. Sami Kungu, a resident and youth leader, said the government should have used the idle land adjacent to the field, adding that they had used Kimorori football ground for years and that the county had even promised to upgrade it. The grounds were on Sunday used to host the FKF Nyakera Tournament League finals.
Sisi hatutakubali. Tumetumia huu uwanja zaidi ya miaka 20. Huwezi kuja ukasema ati vijana na ndio wengi hawatatumia hapa, unataka kuleta koti. Hii koti ni ya benefit ya nani?
Kwa hivyo naomba kuwe na kikao wananchi ama national government na watu wa National Youth Council na sisi viongozi katika hii county tukae chini, tuwe na kuzungumza, tusemesane sisi, tujue vile tutatafuta suluhisho kuhusu hii uwanja.
And that's the sports news. Back to you, Mark.
I'm actually done here, Sean. Thank you for the sports and thank you for watching NTV tonight. Sidebar is up next, and tonight it's conservation conversations and action on Sidebar with Joseph Simeja, the Executive Director of Inform Action, Catherine Omanyo, political analyst, and Charles Munyui, governance expert. No stranger to the panel here, and of course, interesting conversation that will be moderated by Kennedy or Kenneth Mijungu. Ken Mijungu, we like to call him. That's up next. Stay with us.